This week we're snowmobiling in Quebec, in the Saguenay-Lac, St. Jean and Charlevoix regions. Our journey started in Quebec City, staying at the Quebec Inn. Right from the start, it was a very impressive experience, and they had secure trailer parking. From southeast Michigan, Quebec City is about a 13-hour drive. Nothing that is too far to enjoy the FCMQ Trails network and the French-Canadian hospitality of this region. If one wanted to study creative snowmobile bridge building, Quebec is the place. Almost every bridge is unique to itself. We would be heading north out of Quebec City. Because of the torrential rains that had just happened, the conditions did not start out as good as I've seen them before, but still very acceptable riding and getting better by the mile.
Also put gas.
We had a guide with us, just because this is a media tour prepared for us by Quebec Tourism, and they want to make sure that we do not miss anything important or have any bad, unexpected experiences on the trail.
We went around the airport, came up that way, along the power lines, then came straight up north, came across the highway, hit that little fence there. Now we're right here. Now, the plan is to keep on riding on 369, which is roughly halfway for our day. As nice as the trails are here, sometimes you just got to stop and enjoy what Mother Nature has to offer us and soak up some of the scenery.
Our guide for this trip was Jean-Charles Fortin, an experienced wilderness survival expert, guide, also fellow photojournalist. We all had a good time right from the start. We felt very fortunate. Just how fortunate you'll soon see. About 60 miles into the trip, we experienced a trail washout, one of those rarely unexpected happenings when snowmobiling.
I'm standing here right in the middle of the trail. Our sled's right back there. It's a beautiful trail coming down. And all these rains we had the last couple days have now turned to snow. Seem to do a big washout here. I've never seen anything like this. You know, I think we're gonna build a bridge and try to cross it.
Under the guidance of John Charles, we started building a bridge out of deadfall from the woods around us. I'm not really sure I would have done this without our guide. This is about the spookiest bridge one can imagine riding a snowmobile across. With just one sled across, it looks like the bridge is all but destroyed. But what can be built once can be built 3 more times. Now it's Dan's turn to take his Yamaha Nitro across the bridge. I asked him if he was a little scared. I won't tell on him. Rob and I both have to shoot video and thankfully do not get to ride across.
You know, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. I'm stuck here on this side of the river now. All the sleds are on the other side of the river. Bunch of helmets down there too. But I've just realized that actually what time is it again? It's 20 to 4 and we're almost halfway to our lunch stop. Dan here fell through the water, but he's got his dry socks, changed them out. Very important to carry dry clothes with you along.
The rest of us are doing in good shape, but we'll see you tomorrow on SnowTrails TV. We got to get going. We're still about 200K to go. 200 kilometers is about 120 miles. We made it to our scheduled lunch stop pretty late, and instead of spending the night there and getting behind, we hired a trailer to take us to our overnight at the Holiday Inn in Jonquière, Saguenay-Lac, St. Jane. With our sleds and secured overnight parking, we enjoyed the wonderful hospitality of the French-Canadian cultural experience for breakfast. Actually, while the trails are a very nice part of what I've come to enjoy while traveling in Quebec, over the past few years, it has been the cultural experience before and after snowmobiling a world-class trail system. Good morning, I'm Video Mike and welcome to SnowTrails TV. It's the end of January and we're in the Lac Saint Jean region of Quebec. It's in the Saguenay district. We had great riding yesterday, although because of the recent rains, the trails weren't all that great and we had some washouts. We got in here really pretty late last night. But today it's cold, snowflakes are coming down, and JC, what do we got going on today? You say there's some good lookouts around the provincial park or something like that?
Yeah, actually awesome lookouts. We're gonna go around the Mont-Valin National Park, which is on the other side of the Saguenay River. We're gonna reach altitudes around 3,000 feet, so that will allow us to go to 3, if we have enough time, maybe 5 really pretty lookouts. It should be interesting, and it's actually a big highlight. Those lookouts have been built as of last summer, so we're going to be part of the very first people to have a look out there.
Ah, that is most excellent. I'm looking forward to today on SnowTrails TV. We'll see you on the trails. There are 4 of us on this ride. Dan Vandenbrink, who asked me about joining the trip at one of the snow shows we attend. Rob Bird, a new snowmobiler and producer with SnowTrails TV, JC, and myself. One of the first things you'll notice about the trails is the well-marked signage, and they're treated like a major highway. Often the trails seem better maintained than the roadways, and it's all by the volunteer club members with the FCMQ.
Well, we're actually sitting on the Shipshaw River Bridge. Actually, what you see here is, well, I want to say not normal. Usually there's not that much water because, I mean, we're still in the end of January, but because of all the rain that we had in the last 2 days, well, the river is rather high, which is great because it makes an awesome photo opportunity. And Shipshaw River used to be a really big logging river, and nowadays it's my favorite whitewater canoe destination.
We are going to spend the next couple of days showing you the very new summit circuit, allowing unprecedented access to the area's summit peaks.
So this morning we left the Holiday Inn, which is actually sitting pretty much around here. So we went over the river 367, then took the 93 over the Shipshaw River, and now we're sitting here at this junction. And we'll be going on the 93 and coming over the Mont-Valin mountains, and this is where we're going to be having lunch. And then there's a few lookouts. There's one that is down here.
You may have noticed I got my 2003 Classic back on the trail. I had the suspension upgraded from Team Fast to the Airwave, and 3 days later the engine went. A couple of years later, and all fixed, so I think, we're having fun again. We are also using a 4-stroke Polaris IQ Cruiser. There is really an exceptional difference between the older 2-stroke and the newer, quieter, smoother 4-stroke motors.
Okay, so what you see behind me is actually the Valinois ski resort. I'd say it's one of the best kept secrets that we have. Not a lot of people, even during the weekend. If you wait for more than 10 minutes, well, that's really big bad luck. Usually not a lot of people, so you don't wait at the bottom. On a typical year, there's, you never see the trunk of the trees, you only see the treetops.
Traveling by snowmobile is almost a sensory overload experience as one rides through some of the most amazing winter scenery existing. I hope that we can begin to share with you some of the sights that you can see only from a snowmobile. The Saguenay-Lac St. Jane region is a true snowmobiler's destination with about 2,000 miles of marked snowmobile trails, a 22-week season, quality accommodations with secure facilities. There are numerous relay stations and trailside shelters for lunch. This is going to be a 5-day saddlebag tour with approximately 200 miles a day. The ride is focusing on the Saguenay-Lac St. Jane and Charlevoix snowmobile regions of Quebec. These are the trails that legendary snowmobile rides come from. This area is basically in the middle of Quebec, just to the east of the Abitibi-Témiscamingue and north of the Upper Laurentian regions. Talk about some beautiful mountain scenery. Lots of places I've been, I've never seen anything like this. While in the scenic Lookout restaurant, Dan, the mechanic in the group, notices that one of my bogey wheels is crooked, with the bearings going out. So I thought it was all fixed. 77 miles down the trail. Wonderful mountain scenery. I hope you've enjoyed it half as much as we have. We just had lunch here at Lodge 31. Beautiful lookout. We got to get on the trail though. There's a couple really nice other lookouts we're going to go to today.
So folks, Mr. Fortin here is the reason actually why there's snowmobiles on this mountain range. Back in 1991, well, he's had a lodge on the lake here for quite a while, but back in 91 there used to be a chapel, and the chapel collapsed during one winter. So he decided, him and a couple of other guys, to build the actual chapel in 92 that we have behind here. People drive from Wisconsin, Michigan, 25, 30 hours driving only to come here snowmobiling, because it is a true snowmobiler's paradise.
Mile after mile of perfect trails, perfect weather, and so many shooting opportunities that at times it becomes difficult to get to our daily destination before dark. This is the first year for the Summit Tour. There are plans to build nice lookouts and be able to have a cup of coffee while in the clouds.
On the way in here to this lookout, I was admiring Mike on the way in with his Airwave suspension, and was very impressed by how much it was soaking up all the bumps. And the taillight did not appear to be moving much, so it's a tall tail that the suspension was doing all the work. So, I'm sold on the Airwave suspension.
I hate to say it, but we're ending our second day in the Saguenay region in Quebec. The trails have been absolutely beautiful. The scenery, it just doesn't get any better than this. I'm looking forward to the next 3 days to explore more of this, and you've got to join us. And remember, snowmobilers, there is no center line, and the right side is mine. Hope to see you on the trails. The Auberge Cacajou is our overnight, and again pleasantly surprised at the experience after the ride.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers,
guys.
Very good. Waking up at the Auberge Carcajou assured me the snowmobile reality dream would continue today.
Houston, we have a problem. Thing is, Mike installed brand new high faxes just before the trip, and it seems that the guy that installed it kind of forgot to put a part. So in the meantime, we're gonna go out sledding. We're gonna leave one sled here, and when we'll come back, well, we'll have the parts, we fix it, and away we go again. Things are good.
This family-owned and operated lodge is what family-style hospitality is all about. We just spent a wonderful night and dinner and breakfast at the Carcajou Lodge in Saguenay. If you're on the trail, this is a good place to stop in and rest your feet. We're going to get back out here in the Saguenay region, shoot some more beautiful, wonderful trails, give you a familiarization of the area, and I haven't seen snowmobiling like this and the scenery like this in a long time. Let's get on the trails here on SnowTrails TV. This is the first time I have ever had someone shooting from the back of my sled. Rob and I thought we would experiment with the concept, and it was a little difficult for us at first because the suspension was not set up for the extra weight. Not to mention, I'm not used to driving the sled with the extra weight.
Hey, welcome to the Saguenay region. You're watching SnowTrails TV. Another beautiful day here in the snowmobiler's paradise, let's be honest, and not humble at all. Yesterday we went exploring this sector of the Mount Valley area. Now, this morning we left the Carcajou Lodge, which is the Wolverine Lodge, and we took trail number 328. We're actually sitting right here, and we're gonna go up north towards this area here. There's an awesome lookout just up here. It's the Saddleback Mountain, Le Dos de Cheval, from which we can see a large part of the area. Beautiful temperature, fresh new snow.
My Classic, as you've seen, is having a little bit of repairs done. So Rob and I are riding on the IQ Cruiser together, but we got to dial the suspension up and turn the springs because we're just bottoming out a little bit.
Okay. That's it. Now we got to get everything off the sled. Oh,
Okay,
he switched it over to high.
When I guide, you know, I always want to have a Dan with me. I don't have to do nothing. Dan does all the trick.
Today on Mike's IQ Cruiser, it was set on the soft setting, and all we did is turn the torsion springs up to the high setting to give it a little bit stiffer ride because you guys are riding double today.
It made a big improvement in the ride with the suspension adjustments made.
That's the white section I was telling you about.
Riding to the top of any of these lookouts is not an all-day experience. Several of them can be enjoyed in one day of touring the area. This was the very first season for the lookouts, just been carved out this past summer, and the new summit circuit allows one to enjoy the Saguenay-Lac St. Jane region like never before. I did a little web searching and easily found more information about the area, including online ordering of maps, proposed itineraries and routes to help you with your trip planning. Just a little bit less than 25 miles up the trail, another beautiful scenic lookout. They have 3 of these scenic lookouts they built. They're a must-see destination when you come here. We got here just in time. Actually got here about 10 minutes late. The clouds are coming in, the snow's coming in. It's going to make for some really good trails. While we're hanging out here, just chatting on top of the hill, the sun's peeking out a little bit and giving us another sort of quick little view of what you might see on a better day. Now, if we had just had a sunny day, I don't think the ride up and down the summits could have been any better. The fresh snowfall made for a mystical winter wonderland around every corner. I'm looking forward to riding this area again, and what I've heard, there will be hospitality buildings along the summit circuit. Just a half day's ride, and we're back at the Auberge Carcajou, where I might add, They have snowmobile and ATV rental for local guided use.
Hey folks, welcome to the Carcajou Lodge, the Wolverine Lodge, Carcajou. Welcome.
The parts for my sled arrived and Dan went to work.
Welcome to Carcajou Lodge. You're watching SnowTrails TV.
I'll have to admit that our schedule was much slower than expected, and off what it would take a group normally to ride this route. There is so much to show you that it is easy for us to get behind schedule and unfortunately get in after dark again.
Alright, so we're like somewhere between Chicoutimi and L'Abbé, fueling up a little bit. We're getting short on fuel. And the good news is looks like we're heading towards the snow. Expecting, I think, 3 inches over tonight, another 3 inches tomorrow. That'll help, that'll make great conditions, so here we are.
But with another night of fresh snowfall, perfection was again expected. After arriving at our auberge, or lodge, with secure parking, the after-the-ride hospitality again, far above what I normally experience when snowmobiling. Except this all seems to be part of Quebec's French-Canadian snowmobiling hospitality.
Trails that you know, basically. I speak English just a little bit.
The 4-star Auberge des Batteurs in L'Abbé had all the comforts and hospitalities that we have come to expect and experience while saddlebag touring in the Saguenay-Lac St. Jean and Charlevoix regions of Quebec, including secure overnight snowmobile parking.
You know, it's nice here the way they take care of the sleds. Secure parking is a good place. You always want to look for a secure parking place when you're here.
After a good hot breakfast, we start down what almost seems like a deserted snowmobile trail.
All right, we're just a couple miles down the trail here, down Trail 83, heading toward the fishing village. Ran into a couple snowmobilers, more Americans up here. I want to talk to them a little bit about where they're from and why they come up to Quebec. What's the deal with coming to Quebec to snowmobile?
Thousands of miles of trails, super trails, and super nice people.
I've been coming to this area since for about 5 years now.
When we first came up 25 years ago, there was more of a language barrier than there is now. But if you approach it with a smile and a little patience, we always got a room and always got something to eat and found the trail we wanted to ride.
The place we stay is very, very large hotel. It's a Holiday Inn. And people from as far away as Ontario, Michigan come there, Florida, France, England. So we meet people from all over the world, and we finally stay in touch with them on the internet all year long.
And the signs, the trails?
Majority of the time, great. Once in a while, like the weather we just had, we see there are signs that are down due to the wind and the rain we had. But for overall, yes, the signage has been very good.
This is day 4 of our 5-day saddlebag trip, familiarizing us with a few regions of Quebec. We started in Quebec City, riding north and visiting the Mount Valin area and several of the very new scenic Summit Tour lookouts in the Saguenay-Lac St. Jean region, then traveling south to the St. Lawrence Seaway into the Charlevoix region. On the coast of L'Abbé, we find what seems to be a rather large fishing village on the Seaway ice.
Even the local museum has its own ice fishing shack. It's called Lac Waban. This is it. It's closed today, but you know, even the museum has its fishing shack.
These guys really take their ice fishing seriously. These are not just your usual ice fishing shanties, but actually small houses on the ice.
So we're sitting here in Marc-André's ice fishing shack. Probably the most luxurious ice fishing shack you'll ever see in your life. He's got a satellite dish, he's got like shower, toilet, he's got his bed. Basically he spent 10 grand working his ice fishing shack, got a sonar, the stove, and he stays here quite a while. So he's been here for 7 days in a row actually. He just sleeps here and he fishes every day. And yeah, that's a living.
Allez, what's that on it?
Les Américains, c'est
Alright.
Eight could get redfish. What can we get other than that?
Je sais pas les noms en anglais.
It's like a bigger sardine. I don't know the name in English.
Vous venez de où? Vous allez où?
On a eu tout couleur. On a eu de la pluie, on a eu du gros fret, on a eu de la poudre, on retourne à Québec.
Là où tu es où?
Well, I'll stay here. You guys come back in a month or so and get me.
So you were telling me that you catch fish pretty much every day.
About 6, 8.
6, 8 fish every day?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And when is the best time?
1 or 2 hours before the tide is up.
Oh, okay, 1 or 2 hours before the tide reaches its highest point.
Yes, and the
lowest point.
Yes,
same thing.
Yeah.
1 or 2 hours before it reaches high and low.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And what huge chunk of ice that we're sitting on rises 20 feet and lowers 20 feet, like a huge platform.
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. In 6 hours.
Woo! Oh, what a wonderful little place.
I've come to find out that a lot of snowmobilers don't really know how the snowmobile trails come to be, or who it is that develops, maintains, grooms, and patrols the FCMQ trail network. The monies from the FCMQ snowmobile permit is the funding source for maintaining the trails. The FCMQ, which stands for Fédération Club Motoneige Quebec, and motoneige is French for snowmobile. The FCMQ is the main snowmobile organization of volunteers that all the individual local snowmobile clubs and members belong to.
See this guy? It says volunteer.
Volunteer for the Snowmobile Club.
Snowmobile Club, Quebec Snowmobile Club Federation volunteer.
Yeah, Saguenay Club with the biggest club in Quebec.
The way it works is that there's local clubs and you got to pay a trail voucher in order to be a member of your club, and that money basically funds the club, and the club maintains all the trails with the groomers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know the trail is better than anybody.
He probably puts on 10,000 clicks a year.
Oh, yeah.
I was having a wonderful time weaving through the curves and enjoying the scenery on the way to the relay, which is known for its waitresses. A moment of distraction, missed a curve, and then riding out of the runoff.
You were right, Rob. We were gonna pick video mic at some point in the bush.
All right, a little after 1 o'clock. The trails are absolutely gorgeous. A nice maybe 5-6 inches of fresh new snow, well needed here, and we're having a lot of fun. We're going to go in and have a lunch now.
These trails. Did he tell you just
it is immediately very obvious that we were not having lunch or snowmobiling in the States. We just don't have this kind of wild side atmosphere in the U.S.
Welcome to Rollin-la-Boulonnière, SnowTrails TV.
Again, we did not find any problems with communications, and the French-Canadian cultural experience is really all part of the vacation adventure. It is very important and even mandatory that snowmobilers purchase an annual trail permit for each snowmobile used on the trails in the states or Canadian province you're riding in. While some areas' permits may be more costly than others, I have never found the price of the permit not worth the snowmobile experience. The temperatures are dropping and the day is getting short. We've had a lot of fun, spent too much time hanging out at that ice fishing camp. Actually the ice fishing housing development this morning, but the trails are absolutely gorgeous. We're having a fun time. The snow is still coming down with the 6 inches. We just got gas. Just 8 miles off the number 3 snowmobile trail is our overnight at the Auberge de Rivage. Again, because of the time we spent shooting, we have a nighttime arrival. The Rivage Inn is located on Lake Marl. This remote log resort has a casual atmosphere and well known for the 5-course European cuisine dinners. This luxury outfitter is also a fisherman and big game hunter's paradise, with 25 lakes surrounding it and bordering the Laurentian Animal Reserve.
Buffalo.
And you're a fancy meal in a fancy hotel. No, it's gonna happen in a restaurant like that. I mean, it's not as if I have this every day, but I'm really happy I do now.
We settle in for a comfortable evening and feel very lucky for this snowmobile experience.
This cabin atmosphere is something I really like.
Would you come back here again?
I would come back here again in a heartbeat.
Grand Reserva. It's like very fine wine. That's the Scotch I was telling you about. 12 years, single malt, bit smoky, the right stuff. They have like, I don't know how many Scotches here. We might not leave today. We can spend the day here, you know.
You're watching SnowTrails TV.
Oh,
Together.
Gotta get it together, get it together.
It's like pinching a throttle.
This is the last day of our 5-day saddlebag tour in Quebec that started on the trails in Quebec City, sledding north into the Saguenay-Lac St. Jane region. This very remote log lodge is completely self-contained with its own diesel generators for power. During the summer, I've heard of fisherman's paradise with about 25 surrounding lakes.
Welcome to SnowTrails TV. We're now at the l'Auberge du Ravage at the Pourvoirie du Lac Moreau, which is actually the Moreau Lake Outfitters Club, and behind me is the, well, once translated, it would sound something like the Moose Winter Area Lodge. And just spent a beautiful night in here, and we're actually heading towards the Charlevoix region.
As I reflect back at the week, I remember we are very lucky to be snowmobiling at all right now. Because of the warm rains that had happened last week, all the snow we passed on our drive to this region would be gone on the way home. That is a lot of snowmobilers thinking there is no snowmobiling going on. One of my lessons learned is that if we want good riding, sometimes we have to adventure to places that we have not been before. And it can be a whole other winter wonderland experience on snowmobile. The 15-hour drive from my home to Quebec City, where we started this expedition, is really not much more travel than many do to reach the far reaches of Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
So we're just about to step back on trail number 83. That's pretty much my favorite. I gotta say, it's in the top three, at least in my top 3 trails that I've ever been onto. It's like 50 kilometers, roughly 35 miles, rather wide, smooth, rolly, beautiful view. But I mean, like, it's gorgeous out there, and it's been groomed. It's freshly groomed. There's only one sled that I've followed the groomer. So I think we're going for a really good ride.
This week's snowmobile adventure is called a Snowmobile Saddlebag Tour. We pack all of our personal items, spare clothes, and camera gear onto sleds and ride to a new overnight destination each day. Usually during these types of rides, it's pretty easy to do 200 or more miles a day on the snowmobile trails.
We were here at the Saguenay-Lac, and we came all the way up here, took trail number 83, and we're actually sitting here at a junction of 83 and 383. Now we're gonna go down south towards the Malbaie and the casino. We're gonna have a stop at that lookout because it's really pretty, and then we're gonna head down and reach the casino where we're going.
This is what could be called off-trail riding to get up to this lookout spot. Off-trail riding can be a little tricky if you get off the beaten path.
Just outside the pack. Right here is packed. Right here, it's not.
I've had this with me the whole week. Haven't had to use it, but today it made a sticky situation. In about 30 seconds, we're out. Didn't have to take our jackets or our helmets or hurt our backs. I've learned that tour groups come all the way from France to enjoy their very first snowmobile experience. The tour agency contracts sled rentals, winter clothes, and guides. If snowmobiling looks like it might be fun, renting a snowmobile is a very good option for the occasional winter recreationalist.
Beautiful.
This mountain that we're looking at now is from the asteroid that hit 300 million years ago or so.
I did a Google search and found a little more about the asteroid impact. It's said to be a 100-kilometer crater, which is about 60 miles across. I also found out it was only about 1.4 million years ago that this happened.
The SMQ is the association regroup all the clubs in Quebec. We have 209 clubs in Quebec, 32,000 kilometers of trails.
There's a poker run today too, so we make sure that everything goes safe and well. Because if you want to go around in the trail in Quebec Trail, you need your stickers. As you can see, all the people with the adrenaline stickers there, most of them are rental. Some of them are rental, so make sure all the rentals that are well safe.
Great work made by the volunteer. All the trail is made by volunteers. This thing is possible because we have volunteers. Thanks to volunteers, it's impossible without that. I thank you, American Snowmobile TV, for made a good promotion of the snowmobile in North America.
You have a good experience with your first day?
Perfect.
You built a bridge and everything?
Quite unique.
We have this year, now, we have some region, you know, around Montreal. We don't have snow now. Just ice and no snow.
The rains that came through.
Yes, we have too much rain.
Again, only because we were willing to travel are we able to enjoy ourselves this much.
The 15-hour drive did seem a little long, but after you arrive here in Quebec, you'll realize that every mile that you drove is worth it.
Dan, a local snowmobiler from Michigan, came with us, and this is his first foreign ride. The FCMQ snowmobile trails are monitored for safety and compliance with the required snowmobile trail permit. And with this big snowmobile poker run, we are starting to run into the local traffic as we get closer to La Melle Bay, located along the St. Lawrence Seaway. The old-style castle-type architecture was very interesting, and really not like anything I had the opportunity to experience before. In 1608, Samuel de Champlain, a French explorer, visited this place and didn't find a suitable anchorage for his ship in the bay.
I feel like a fat man.
Therefore named it Melle Bay, archaic French for bad or poor bay. A name further justified when during low tide the bay dried up and his ships ran aground. After lunch, we took a tour of the French castle-like Fairmont Hotel and thought you would enjoy seeing this as much as we did. Recapping our week's ride here in Quebec, we left Quebec City, then overnighted at the Holiday Inn in Jonquière, Saguenay-Lac, St. Jane. Then after exploring Mount Valin, our second overnight was at the family-run Auberge de Carcajou in St. David de Far-le-Dos. The next day, our summit tour continued in the Auberge des Bateaux in La Baie, and leaving this morning from the Log Lodge, now finishing here. I know you enjoyed this snowmobile tour of Quebec just as much as we did. It is always nice when there is the opportunity to remove a sled from the cold outdoors. Here, it is in a secure underground parking garage for snowmobiles. The views of the St. Lawrence were spectacular, and they tell me that pods of whales are often spotted in the seaway, and this has become a favorite spot for whale watching. Video Mike for SnowTrails TV saying, remember snowmobilers, there is no center line and the right side is mine. Hope to see you on the trails.